Good morning, Card Readers. RJ back with another video. Let's get to it. Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day. 1988 score. This is a highlights card from obviously 1988 score. 1987 highlights. Mike Schmidt hits his 500th career home run. 87, 88, 89, Mike's winding down his career. Sometimes he's at first, sometimes he's at third. He's slowing down, unfortunately. As all great athletes do eventually. My random baseball item of the day, along with that, is a 1988 score Chris James card. You can see here he's listed at left field, but at one time, him, Steve Jeltz, a number of other players were thrown in at third base as they were going to be the heir apparent to Mike Schmidt. Now, again, no one was expected to be Mike Schmidt, but you figured you'd get yourself a quality third baseman. We didn't have a good third baseman until Scott Rowland in the mid-90s again. Dave Hollins was there for the 1993 World Series team, but he was marginal at best. He had a couple decent seasons, but he was certainly no long-term solution. Scott Rowland would have been a long-term solution for the Phillies if he had wanted to stay there, but he wanted out because the Phillies were not committed to winning in those years. But just an interesting pair of cards. Talking about Phillies third baseman, we got another one right now, an Alec Bohm that seems to be a long-term solution. Even back in 2008 when we won the World Series, we had Pedro Feliz for like 2 seasons, and he was gone. We brought back Placido Polanco. So Phillies have never had much luck with their third baseman over the years. They hit lightning in a bottle with Mike Schmidt. So, all right, today's trivia question. I'm going to stick with the format I did on Monday. Again, I'm looking for comments from y'all to see if you enjoy this, because it's fun to look at old cards. It's fun to think about who was on the old cards. So what we're doing again is we are doing, I'm going to show off a set of cards. This is 1982 Donruss I'm going to show you. All right. And there's a number of manager cards, a number of player cards. Do not talk to me about cards like this. This is a special card, Bronx Bombers. It has Reggie Jackson and Dave Winfield in it. I'm not interested in you saying, oh yeah, there was that card there. No, just I'm going to show you all the Hall of Famers in the 1982 Donruss set, all of them, except one of the cards I'm going to show you is not a Hall of Fame member, and one of the Hall of Fame members that are part of the 1982 Donruss set has been removed. You need to tell me which card of a Hall of Famer was removed and which card of a non-Hall of Famer was inserted, all right? So we'll go through these real quick. Earl Weaver, Hall of Fame manager. Rollie Fingers on the Brewers. Sparky Anderson had moved on to the Tigers at this time. Eckersley with the Red Sox. Dave Winfield, obviously, on the Yankees. George Brett, enough said. Carlton still with the Phils. Yaz still kicking it this time. Young Alan Trammell. Paul Molitor. Andre. Ozzie Smith still with the Padres on this card, although he did get traded to the Cardinals this year because he was on the Cardinals 82 team that won the World Series. Just so you know, Ted Simmons with the Brewers. The Brewers team went to the 82 World Series against the Cardinals. Young Jack Morris, nice tight haircut there. Tommy Lasorda before the big pouch, but he's getting there. Burt Blyleven on the Indians. Full beard on Burt. Oh, Burt always had sometimes he had a beard, sometimes he didn't. Nice Ricky Henderson. This is a third-year Ricky card. Gary Carter. Tom Seaver still on the Reds. Nice Whitey Herzog, Hall of Fame manager. Jim Rice. Tim Raines. Imagine having a team with Tim Raines, Andre Dawson, and Gary Carter, and never winning. Interesting with the Expos. Rod Carew. Newer Hall of Famer Jim Cutt. Jim Palmer. Lee Smith rookie card. Goose Gossage. There's my Mike Schmidt. Hall of Fame manager Tony La Russa. Bruce Sutter, now on the Cardinals. Yogi Berra was a coach in this set. Johnny Bench. There's the Ripken rookie. a pretty good quality Ripken rookie, but I'm not going to bother getting it graded. I want it part of my set. Tony Perez, Robinson. Frank Robinson was manager of the Giants at the time. Don Sutton on the Astros, Phil Necro. Eddie Murray, Hall of Fame manager Billy Martin was on the A's at the time. Carlton Fisk, Robin Yount. Nice Reggie, full action pose. This reminds me of the 1980 card of Reggie Jackson. That great Reggie swing where he practically kneels as he's doing a follow-through home run, you know. Great picture of Reggie right there. Gaylord Perry, who never looked young. Harold Baines, the old collared White Sox jerseys. Bob Lemon, still managing. Willie Stargell and Fergie Jenkins on the Rangers at that time. So there you have the 1982 Donruss Hall of Fame cards. One of those was not a Hall of Famer, and one member of the Hall of Fame who was in that set was not shown. So send me an email, tell me what two cards they are, and the prize this week, or this day, is this 1991 Donruss, the Hall of Fame rookie cards. Take a look at some of the rookies that are on in this set. Nice Ivan Rodriguez and Jeff Bagwell, two of the bigger names, Hall of Famers. So you get a full set plus the mini. It's still sealed in there in the box, just so you can see. Still sealed in the box with the puzzle card. So good quality cards. Maybe you get a nice PSA 10 Ivan Rodriguez or Jeff Bagwell card out of that. All right, today is Wednesday, so I'm showing off a small set. Want to highlight another kind of set people just don't think about enough, I think. I'm a big fan of Donruss Diamond Kings. Ever since they came out, the artwork was fantastic. And I'm going to show today the 1992 Donruss Diamond Kings for a couple of reasons. One is, here's the checklist card, and it does a good job of giving you an image of the artist of the Diamond Kings, Mr. Dick Perez, who did a lot of sports art of all kinds. I mean, all kinds of sports arts. Dick Perez is very, very famous for. That's a heck of a career if you can get it, being an artist that's that good that, you know, people will commission you to do artwork for them. So he had a great gig. He was very talented, and I'm a big, big fan of the Diamond Kings because of Dick Perez's work. And here you can see the different players who are in the set I'm about to show you. Diamond Kings was always one card per team, and usually it was a different player every year, but I did notice that sometimes certain players made multiple appearances for their teams. I don't think that should have happened. I think they should have kept going just one per team at all times. I mean, I don't know why they stopped doing the Diamond Kings run. It's back now. If you go to Diamond Kings, if you get the Diamond Kings product, they actually have an insert that are modeled after the old Diamond Kings. Anyway, what's special about the 1992 Donruss Diamond Kings, it's the first year, if you take a look at the numbering, it had a DK qualifier because this is the first year they weren't part of the base set. When the Diamond Kings first came out in 1982, they were not part of the 81 release. In 82, they were the first 27 cards in the set, the 27th being the checklist, the 26th, one from all the different 26 teams at the time. They were the first 27 cards every year, except in 1992, for whatever reason, they went to an insert format. They were numbered differently. They were randomly inserted. They were not part of the base set for the first time ever in 1992. So here are your 1992 Donruss Diamond Kings. 1992 Donruss Diamond Kings that year. Paul Molitor, perfect one for the Brewers. Will Clark, who was one of the stars of the Giants at the time, obviously. Joe Carter. The Orioles were just about to go through their 2 World Series runs. He's a good choice. I think Sandy Alomar was there already. He could have been chosen. Julio Franco on the Rangers. This is before Ivan Rodriguez and A-Rod made their splash. Nice Cal Ripken. Who else would you have chosen? David Justice, very young star at the time for the Braves, although the Braves had a lot of players of high caliber. This is 1991. 1990-91 was when the Braves first started getting good and went on their terrific run. George Bell on the Cubs. Notice they didn't put Rhino. If you're going to do a Cub, you're thinking, in 92, you're thinking Dawson or Ryan Sandberg. But they chose George Bell. Frank Thomas, obviously, for the White Sox. Wade Boggs, obviously, for the Red Sox. Interesting, the Yankees were still, pretty pitiful. This was in the stretch between their World Series appearances. They used Scott Sanderson, who was a long-forgotten Yankee, unless you're a Yankee fan. Nice young Jeff Bagwell. John Kruk, the epitome of Philadelphia. Felix Jose, interesting choice for the Cardinals. Harold Baines, Hall of Famer of the A's at that time. Nice Dwight Gooden, like the stare down. Brian McRae for the Royals. There's a number of other players you could have chosen, but he was a young star at the time. Jay Bell with the Pirates. Again, a lot of different people you could have pulled for there. Love Brett Bettler on the Dodgers. This was before. The Dodgers were in the middle of their run of 4 straight Rookie of the Year candidates back in this era. Hal Morris on the Reds. I think this is before Paul O'Neill went from the Reds to the Yankees. So Paul O'Neill could have been your guy. Mark Langston on the Angels. Scott Erickson was a highly touted pitching prospect at the time, so he makes the Twins Diamond King. Love the Randy Johnson. It's a really nice image of Randy. Greg Swindell for the Indians. Dennis Martinez, fresh off of his perfect game performance the year before. Dennis Martinez on the Diamond King for the Expos. Tony Phillips for the Tigers. And then a Fred McGriff on the Padres at the time. So there you go. That is my small set of Diamond Kings. I don't like the back. This is 1992. 1992's cards look like this. So this is the upper deck. This is the Donruss Diamond King that went with these as your base set. And the back the front looks different, which I understand, but the back doesn't look anything like the card backs. I'm not a fan of the back of these cards. I'm just not. Who really cares about what the back is? The back's not what we look at. We look at the front, and they're beautiful front cards on the front. It's just the back's a little annoying to me. What can I tell you? Anyway, hope you enjoyed that little showcase of 1992 Donruss Diamond Kings, the first ever Diamond King insert set. All the rest were part of the base set. So anyway, there you have it. Don't forget the trivia question. Again, if you need to know, if you don't have the 1982 Donruss set and you want to know which cards were actually in the Hall, which players in the Hall of Fame made the set, there's a number of places you can Google and get that list. It's very easily had, and you should be able to figure out real quick which Hall of Famer was not included and who was included but not a Hall of Famer. So anyway, I appreciate everybody stopping by. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. I really appreciate your support as I try my best to support everybody else, all right? We'll have another great trivia question and prize coming up on Friday. Thanks for watching, and take care.